Hello, welcome back to Recreate and Rise podcast. Episode 3, we have lonely to limitless after a grey divorce or loss. Usually there's a loneliness that happens beyond the grey divorce or loss. But sometimes the loneliness actually happens before the event happens. Sometimes there's actually loneliness within a relationship. It's a bit of a juggling act. Loneliness in a relationship or loneliness by yourself. I've found that loneliness actually teaches you more about yourself. Loneliness by yourself teaches you more about yourself. So welcome back to Recreate and Rise, where your next chapter there's endless possibilities and endless courage for you to find. I'm Lisa Keevill, Recreate and Rise founder. What I share with you is from my life experience, my study, and my own reinvention beyond a grey divorce. Today we get into another topic that people don't always talk about, and that's the loneliness after grey divorce. Not many people will admit the lonely feeling that they go through beyond a divorce. I'll take you back to it was October 2019, and I knew my marriage was going to end. I was going to end it. That's another story. I didn't want the marriage to end, but I knew that it was over. And I was at the Taj Mahal with two couples. My ex was supposed to be there, but he declined to come for a beautiful sunrise over the Taj Mahal. And that's okay, that's his prerogative. But the two couples that I was with, both keen photographers, the men, both keen photographers. So off they went. They went to take the most stunning photos as couples around the Taj Mahal. So I had 2 to 2.5 hours by myself. My ex was in bed, 5 minutes walk down the street. He chose not to come. I was lonely. I was really lonely. I was in one of the most beautiful romantic places in the world, and I was by myself. Imagine Taj Mahal by yourself. At that stage, I actually couldn't imagine being there by myself, but I was. It was about after an hour that I sat, looked, smiled. I realised that being lonely there at the Taj Mahal was far outweighing my being lonely within my marriage. It was a whole new level of me realising what loneliness was. So I'm not sure why you've arrived here, whether it's for yourself or for someone else. If you're looking at recreating, rising into your next chapter beyond a grey divorce or perhaps loss, you don't actually have to be in the 50 plus grey divorce. That's just my area of expertise. But I'm guessing you've landed here and you'll be listening to what I have to say because you feel different areas of loneliness. I've found when I've spoken to most women, loneliness is in so many different forms. It's loneliness of making decisions. It's the loneliness of going out to dinner by yourself. It's the loneliness of virtually everything that you were used to doing as a team now becomes a team of one. I found a lot of women financially, they left. A lot of women have left finances to the man. So when the divorce happens or there's a loss, they're not sure what to do. Traveling's a biggie with people. A lot of people are lonely and they don't wish to travel by themselves. The list is long. The list of loneliness is very long, extremely long. I was lonely. I missed my children terribly from a family unit. I actually went through my divorce during COVID, so some of you may have as well. I personally, I actually like the space to myself. Whilst I was lonely, I enjoyed to have the lonely space to myself. You may as well. So the etymology of the word loneliness, so the history of the word loneliness, dates back to about the 1500s, where the word lone meant alone, being by yourself. But by the 1800s, the word had actually transformed to loneliness, so it became an emotion. So it went from something that it was to an emotion. Some of you who watch my Instagram posts may know that one of my favourite books on grey divorce is Jocelyn Elise Crowley. So this is Grey Divorce, What We Lose and Gain from Midlife Splits. I was actually delighted to see her and Mel Robbins doing a podcast together. I just refer to her book, page 130 in her book. Yes, I've got lots of little tags. This book goes to the beach, goes everywhere. This is in an area, moving forward personally, and coming out on the other end of a grey divorce. The bad. So Jocelyn writes, perhaps most importantly, divorce can bring out profoundly sad feelings, resulting in severe loneliness. This loss of companionship may be primarily felt by the non-instigators or non-initiators of the divorce, as they're more likely to retain hope about the marriage's long-term durability. In addition, midlife women experience a divorce have reported feelings hurt by being left to fend for themselves against the world, as well as vulnerable to unknown outsiders when they're no longer part of a couple. Divorced individuals also report more significant single strain in comparison to never married people. Single strain embodies all practical and socio-emotional stresses that result from the absence of daily intimacy, shared memories, and the anticipation of a bright future with another partner. That is the part that says the bad. It's not all doom and gloom, but it's interesting to note it was about 40 people, 40 men and women that Jocelyn or Dr. Crowley actually did surveys on to come up with some of this information. Some other information that she's got about loneliness, the further loneliness, missing decisions and intimacy, which I've just read. She also notes that on a positive side to combat loneliness, she also notes that small daily routines can become anchors for your confidence. And I absolutely agree with her. I moved to the beach to mend. It was my medicine. I saw it as my medicine. And each day I would walk to the beach, or if not to the beach, I would walk to the sea to look at the ocean. I would do that whether it was warm or whether it was freezing cold and raining. Small things like that, your confidence will grow. She's also noted that loneliness can be combated by going out. That is quite obvious, but when you're lonely, you do tend to hide so no one can see you. Just going out, nature, just going out, seeing other people, smiling, saying hello, can actually then stop feelings of loneliness. I also found with loneliness, I had to replace loneliness with something. At the time, I didn't realise I was replacing loneliness with something. I guess I thought at the time I was replacing my life's trajectory of where I was going. I took up yoga. And this is something for you to consider. Is there something in you that you feel stirring? I felt it really stirring in my soul. For those that know me, for those that don't, very spiritual person. And I just had this, I want to be a yoga teacher. I want to learn about it. I want to do yoga. So in March, I think it was 2021, it was around COVID, so it was we were allowed to during that time, I took myself to Byron Bay to a training institution called Santosha Yoga. It was a 2-week intense course in-house, and then it was about, I think, another 100 hours of online learning. In finding yoga, I lost my loneliness. Yes, I did find a new community of people, which makes a difference, which I will talk about I think it's the next episode. But I found something new for me. I found something that was out of my comfort zone. I found something I wanted to learn about. When I started to learn the 8 limbs of yoga, meditation, yoga, the asana, which is the postures, the lifestyle, breath work, it was my answer to loneliness. And to this day, I will say to people, it was my avenue for me recreating one of the main avenues for me recreating my new life. So is there something that is stirring? And we only have one life. We've got one more chapter to create. So like yoga, where I had a stirring, had an idea, I was no longer lonely because I couldn't wait. Like with loneliness, some of the times you would walk in the house and you would say, there's no one here. But I got to the stage where I was excited to get home because I was coming in to get out my yoga notes. The online learnings, you're in a classroom, and that even though it's online recorded, it's like you're in the room with someone. So that was my answer to loneliness. The actions that I would like you to take from today, if this resonates with you, again, part of the research. Sorry, I just backtracked to something that I did miss here. 2023 Harvard study of adult development showed that loneliness isn't just an emotion. This is when I go back to the etymology. So it's not just an emotion. It psychologically affects your sleep, your immune system, and your heart health. Part of that research also showed intentional habits help with loneliness. So intentional daily habits, they don't have to be big. You don't have to go and start your yoga class straight away, but start small habits every day. Go for a walk outside. Start speaking to new people. It might be that when you get your coffee at the cafe, change the cafe, introduce yourself to the person who's making your coffee. Start conversations. They're called social micro connections. Just start connecting differently with people and move your body and engage your senses. When I was at the beach, there's nothing I loved more than to smell the ocean. But if you're out in nature, nothing better than the smell of the morning, in the morning when you wake up. To engage your senses, move your body, and try and connect socially, even in the smallest way. Even the shyest person or the person that is feeling so lonely and sad, start engaging, and even if it is to talk to the person when you get your morning coffee. Another way I combated loneliness, I was terribly lonely because I felt I had no home. So here's an idea for you, and it comes from my nanny. Our grandparents, amazing, aren't they? When I was upset because I didn't have a home, my nanny's words resonated with me. And her words were, home is wherever you are. Home is wherever you are. I have a key ring with home on it because I always drive. When I go somewhere, I drive and I come back and I'm back home. That little key ring with home written on it reminds me that home is wherever I am. Brilliant for combating loneliness with the simplicity of thought that you're actually not alone with no home. Where home is where you are. And be mindful of the loneliness that you're feeling within yourself. From a mindfulness perspective, What triggers your loneliness? I love journaling. Okay, we'll always say journal, journal, journal. If you don't have a journal per se, you can just use a notebook. But when you journal, you should write the date. You should journal when you're both happy, both sad. But start journaling and see what triggers the loneliness. For me, what triggered loneliness was the holiday season. The long weekends that were no longer family long weekends. Even in winter, I was triggered coming home from work in the dark and the fire wasn't going. Write and see what triggers you. And if you can learn what triggers you, see if you can somehow resolve the triggers. As in, I've got the key ring with home on it. So whenever I drive home, I'm not lonely coming into my house by myself, because I know that home, which is very important to us all, home is where I am. So loneliness isn't something to run from. It's something to retrain yourself and retrain the habits, small steps, small thoughts, and journaling. So as we did in the last episode, do my cards. As mentioned, if this is your first episode that you've watched, these cards, my son gave me these cards during times when I was having difficulties. And they're daily inspiration cards. They are tarot cards, but they're daily inspirational cards. Never use them for tarot, I've just used them for daily inspiration. Whenever I've done a yoga class or meditation, my clients love it when we end. So for today, my own funny shuffling way, this is, I love it how these cards come out. The universe sends them out just as they should be. Today we have, I work hard towards my goals and rest when my work is done. I work hard towards my goals and rest when my work is done. If you've got your journal, I should get you to bring your journal to all of these sessions, which actually that's a really good idea. Bring your journals. So when I throw out these little ideas and things for you to do to help you, and we do our daily affirmation and daily inspiration, or weekly, whenever I do the podcasts, which I plan to drop them once a week, you can write them in your journal. So if you're busy writing away, I'll just say, for those that have run and got their journal and their pen, I work hard towards my goals and rest when my work is done. So thank you so much for listening. Remember to subscribe, like, share. If there's someone that you know that's going through a divorce or a loss, share the content. Recreate and Rise, helping women rise beyond a great divorce or loss. So I'm Lisa Keevill, and why should you recreate and rise? Because the next chapter belongs to you. It's going to be amazing. I'll see you in our next episode, which is loss of friendships. I know I'm bringing out the difficult subjects, but I'm also bringing out the subjects that people don't talk about and that people ask me to talk about. So loss of friendships, I've got some really good ideas and around friendships, because a lot of the times you think it's you. It's not you. It's just the way it goes. I'll see you next time on Recreate and Rise. Thank you for listening and watching. Bye.